Manchester United back in action against Tottenham Hotspur. Couldn't have been a much harder game to have at Old Trafford on the back of that really poor performance away at Brighton. Absolute shocking for Manchester United that was, but that is out the way. The negativity has not stopped coming from Manchester United this past week. It's been relentless, the amount of negativity surrounding the club. But the only way we can shut the fuck up out of these haters and everyone associated with the negativity is by getting the job done against Spurs, which is going to be very difficult for Manchester United, to be honest. I'm not confident going into this game, but we've got to think positive that Manchester United can get the victory, because if we do not get the victory, I'm worried that it could be curtains for Jose Mourinho. And to be honest, I'm not 100%, wouldn't be 100% pleased if Jose Mourinho is dismissed of his role as Manchester United manager. Now, that is because I don't think all the problems that Manchester United have are all Jose Mourinho's fault. And I thought a lot of the problems were in the past Louis van Gaal's fault and David Moyes' fault. Now, I've started to realise and think that a lot of the problems caused in and around Manchester United have been problems from the managers. Louis van Gaal wasn't the best fit probably for Manchester United, but had a track record of success at previous clubs. But the Glazers and Ed Woodward have got to take a lot of blame over the last 3 or 4 years of what has happened at Manchester United. I think more so than Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. Now, I think a lot of these signings that have happened over the last 2 or 3 or 4 years have not been Louis van Gaal or Jose Mourinho's signings, which does worry me moving forward. And if Manchester United to lose this game against Tottenham Hotspur, and certainly if we lost it convincingly and got hammered like we did in that game against Brighton, then a lot of the blame is going to come under Jose Mourinho. And I do not think some of these players are players that he wanted to necessarily bring to the club. He wanted other players brought in. Louis van Gaal said after he was fired that he didn't get some of the players that he wanted at the club, so maybe some of them weren't the signings that he wanted, and too many of them are lurking around. So, and I think at the end of the day, the manager's going to be given the sack if results don't improve and Manchester United don't start performing a higher level with more attacking intent. And if some of the players aren't the players that Jose Mourinho wants, if we are to change manager, maybe bring Zidane in or something, I'm not too sure what is going to change if Ed Woodward and the Glazers are picking some of the players in and around the squad, and the manager's not having a full say in transfers, because that's not going to help Zidane either. But onto this game, and we've certainly got to get the victory in this one. I think anything other than victory will be curtains for Jose Mourinho in the future. He may not get the sack after this game, but I do expect that if we don't win this game, that it will only be a matter of time. One more result after this and Manchester United will probably dismiss Jose Mourinho, and I'm not sure where we are going. We are becoming a hiring and firing club, and yes, I know Chelsea down the road do that all the time and are successful, but they've had a really good team for a number of years. They seem to recruit better players for me. I know over the years they have brought in a lot of players that maybe aren't to standard, but they have still brought in a wealth of great players, and this Manchester United team isn't giving me a lot of confidence. Certainly going into this Spurs game, you're looking at Manchester United, how we're going to line up tomorrow against Spurs. Okay, David Hare will be in goal, no problem there, but this defence is just a defence that even Brighton wouldn't want to put out. Because Manchester United are probably going to put out, I would stick with Luke Shaw at left back. I think we've got to be going with Luke Shaw now. He's starting to get into form. I would keep him at left back, but Jose Mourinho will probably go with Ashley Young and Antonio Valencia as our fullbacks. Two players that are 33 years of age, are well and truly past their pomp, not good enough for Manchester United to be starting on the wings, and they're playing at fullback. That is just laughable for Manchester United. That shouldn't be happening at a lower league club. This shouldn't be happening at a lower down the division club. It just shouldn't be. The teams down near the bottom wouldn't be doing this, and it's just laughable that Manchester United are doing this. And then we do not know who's going to be playing at centre back. The reports for me are coming out that it could be Bay and Smalling. Now, Bay was absolutely dreadful against Brighton last time out, so and Lindelof was also bad. So both of them could be dropped, but I can't see both. I mean, he could choose to bring Smalling and Phil Jones back in. I mean, the two Chuckle brothers there. It is just a disaster. This defence. It is absolutely comical for other teams, and I can see why other teams are laughing at Manchester United, because that defence just isn't good enough to even for me, to barely avoid for a relegation threatening team, they wouldn't be confident with that defence. So how can Manchester United be looking to win the league with that? It is laughable. What I'm hoping is when Manchester United get into the groove a bit, play a few games, hopefully Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof will form a better partnership and get more confidence, because they looked a bit better in that game against Leicester. I still think that there may be room for improvement from that Leicester game, but that Brighton game just brought it back down to earth and they were terrible. I'm starting to think, was Lindelof really the player that Jose Mourinho wanted to sign? I believe probably Eric Bailly was, but I'm not too sure on Lindelof. Now, and I would have Shaw and Diogo Dalot as the future of the two fullbacks over the future. That would be my defence if Manchester United are moving forward this season. But Dalot has only just come back to full training, so he would go with Valencia there. Now, in midfield, Christ knows what he's going to go for. We're hearing Matic could be back, so personally I would go for Matic, Fred, Pogba in midfield if they are all fit. Further forward, Lukaku will be the striker, and the other two options, Christ knows what he's going to go for in attack. Will Alexis Sanchez be fit to play on one hand side? Will he play him and Jesse Lingard? Will he play Martial? That is just a conundrum for me, and I'm just not too sure. If I was probably Juan Mata will probably start out on the right, and Christ knows what he's going to do. I mean, it's a toss-up between any of them players. I'd like to see Sanchez come back in if he is fit, but we will have to wait and see. But it's going to be a similar lineup to that, I would expect. But the defence really does worry me, because Manchester United's attack isn't free-flowing attacking football at this moment in time, and with the defence as bad as it is, it doesn't give me much confidence that Manchester United are going to go out and be able to put 2 or 3 past Tottenham if we are to concede. That is where the low confidence coming from me. But I'm trying to be confident for Manchester United going into this game, but there's so many good players for Tottenham Hotspur that could cause Manchester United problems. And whether Alderweireld starts or not tomorrow is going to be, he will be in and around the squad for tomorrow, and that is a downer for me, because I would have loved to have seen him in a Manchester United shirt playing against Tottenham tomorrow, but it just wasn't to be. Now, Christian Eriksen is going to cause Manchester United all sorts of problems. He has done in the past. Harry Kane will be licking his lips at the prospect of coming up against the likes of Ashley Young, Lindelof, Bay, whoever is at the back in the defence. He's going to be licking his lips, because he's an absolute quality goal scorer, is Harry Kane, and they've got so many other players that could cause Manchester United problems, the likes of Dele Alli as well. So I think this is going to be a difficult game for Manchester United. I'm going to go for Manchester United drawing this game, and I'm going to go for 2-2 in this game. I think that Manchester United are going to struggle to get the victory in this, but we are stronger at home than we are away, so we haven't got a bad home record under Jose Mourinho. We've only lost 3-4 games, I presume, something like that at home, so I think Manchester United can get a result in this game, but whether that's going to be enough to ease the pressure on Jose Mourinho and the players, I doubt it. I think Manchester United really have to be winning this game. I mean, it is a very important game in Jose Mourinho's career, because if Jose Mourinho is to lose this game and get the sack, I'm not too sure where he would go as a manager, and that is one of the reasons why I believe that the reports are coming out that any other club, Jose Mourinho said, with the lack of signings, the lack of backing the manager in the transfer window, that he would have walked away. Now, that isn't, and a lot of people are saying it's because this is the job he's always wanted, and yes, I do believe this was a job that he did always want. I think that even a few years ago, he probably would have walked away from this job. I think it's more the fact that there isn't the ilk of job that this massive club gives Jose Mourinho at this moment in time. You're looking at the clubs he's been at. He's been in Italy, he's been in Spain, and he's been to 2 clubs in England. There's not too many massive clubs out there at the moment that are looking for a manager, and the only other sort of club I could see him maybe managing in the future is probably PSG as the massive club, so he probably does want to stay. But that does give me a bit of encouragement that if Jose Mourinho really wants to stay at Manchester United, he's going to fight and try his upwards best to turn this around at Manchester United. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this conundrum at Manchester United and how you think this game is going to plan out against Tottenham Hotspur. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon.